I didn't wait for a hero, I decided to become one. We live in a world that often tells us who we should be, how we should look, what we should achieve, and by when. But let me tell you something, growth doesn't come from outside expectations. Growth begins within. You don't need to fit into a box, you need to break it. That's where your true power lies. I'm not standing here as someone who had it all figured out. I'm here as someone who chose to keep growing, even when the world said, "You're done." Whether it was crossing borders or breaking stereotypes, the only thing that kept me going was the belief that I had more to become. And so do you. We all have a story. Some of us come from small towns, broken homes, different cultures, or difficult pasts. Maybe you've been told that where you come from limits where you can go, but the truth is this: your story is your power. Every chapter, no matter how painful, messy, or complicated, has shaped the person you are today. We spend so much time hiding parts of ourselves to fit in, to be accepted, or to avoid judgment. But what if the very parts you're trying to hide are the parts that will inspire someone else? What if your journey, with all its twists and turns, is exactly what someone needs to hear to believe they can rise too? There is strength in being vulnerable. There is courage in saying, "This is who I am, and this is what I've been through." When you embrace your story, you stop letting it define you in a negative way. Instead, you use it as fuel. You turn it into your voice, your platform, your reason to keep going. Look at every failure, every rejection, every detour, not as something to be ashamed of, but as proof that you kept moving forward. That is growth, that is resilience. Owning your story doesn't mean being stuck in the past. It means being proud of how far you've come. It's about standing tall and saying, "Yes, this is me, and I'm still becoming." No one else can tell your story like you can, so stop trying to edit yourself to fit someone else's expectations. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you unfiltered, unapologetic, and unafraid to shine from the truth of your journey. Because when you own your story, you don't just grow, you lead. We grow up in a world that constantly tells us to be perfect. Perfect skin, perfect body, perfect job, perfect life. And in trying to meet those unrealistic standards, we often lose the most important thing, our real selves. But the truth is, your flaws are not failures. They are part of what makes you human. They are part of what makes you asterisk. We all have things we wish we could change about ourselves. Maybe it's how we look, how we speak, or mistakes we've made. But instead of hiding those parts or feeling ashamed of them, what if you embraced them? What if you stopped seeing them as things that make you less, and started seeing them as things that make you real? Flaws don't mean you're broken. They mean you've lived. The scar that tells a story of healing, the awkward laugh that makes people smile, the failures that taught you something valuable. These are not weaknesses. They are signs of growth, of experience, of depth. When you embrace your flaws, you take back your power. You stop letting the world dictate your worth. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. Confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from self-acceptance. It comes from being able to say, "This is who I am, and I'm enough." People are drawn to authenticity, not perfection. Your vulnerability, your honesty, your willingness to show up as your full self, that is what connects you to others. That is what creates impact. So don't hide the parts that make you different. Celebrate them. Learn from them. Grow through them. Because the moment you embrace your flaws is the moment you begin to live with true freedom and unstoppable strength. Learning is not just about acquiring knowledge. It's about evolving, adapting, and growing through every experience. Life is filled with constant lessons, both big and small. Sometimes they come in the form of success, other times in failure, but they are always there. The key is to remain open and hungry for growth, no matter where you are or what you've already achieved. Learning relentlessly means never settling for what you know today. It means recognizing that there is always something more to discover, whether it's a new skill, a new perspective, or a deeper understanding of yourself. It's the willingness to dive deeper, push further, and seek more even when you feel like you've reached the limit. This mindset isn't about being perfect or knowing everything. It's about the pursuit of progress and self-improvement. The world is constantly changing, and so should we. To remain relevant, to stay sharp, and to continue evolving, we must actively seek out opportunities to learn. But learning is not always comfortable. It can be messy, challenging, and frustrating. Sometimes it means unlearning old habits or confronting the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. But it's through these uncomfortable moments that we experience the most growth. Relentless learning doesn't mean waiting for the right time or the perfect opportunity to start. It means taking action now. It's about asking questions, seeking new challenges, and understanding that failure is simply a stepping stone toward greater wisdom. The more we learn, the more we unlock our potential and expand our horizons. So keep pushing yourself, keep asking what's next. And don't be afraid to embrace the discomfort of growth. When you commit to learning relentlessly, you unlock a lifetime of transformation and possibility. Being authentic is one of the most powerful things you can be in a world that constantly pressures you to fit into a mold. Every day, society throws expectations at us, how we should look, behave, speak, and even think. But when you try to conform to those external standards, you lose the most important thing, yourself. Fearlessly embracing who you are, without compromise, is where your true strength lies. Being authentic doesn't mean you're perfect or that you have it all together. It means showing up as you are, unpolished, real, and unafraid of the world's judgment. It means understanding that the only person you need to please is yourself. When you stop trying to fit in, when you stop guessing yourself to make others comfortable, that's when you start living fully. We are all different for a reason. Your quirks, your passions, your way of thinking, these are the things that make you unique. Trying to hide or suppress them only stifles your potential. When you embrace who you are, you stop living for someone else's approval and start living for your own. And that's a freedom that nothing else can offer. The world needs authenticity. It needs people who aren't afraid to stand out, to be different, to challenge the status quo. Authenticity is contagious. When you show up as your true self, you inspire others to do the same. You create space for others to be real, to stop pretending, to stop hiding. So be fearless in owning your truth. Be bold in expressing who you are. The moment you choose authenticity over perfection, you begin to live a life of true power. One where you are not just surviving, but thriving. We are often our own greatest obstacle. The walls we face aren't always built by others. They are built by our own beliefs, doubts, and fears. It's easy to blame external circumstances or people for holding us back, but the truth is, we are the ones who create the limitations in our minds. The barriers we face are often self-imposed, and the key to breaking them lies within our own courage to push beyond what we think is possible. It's natural to feel fear when we're on the edge of something new or uncertain, but those fears should not define us. Every time you think, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, you're constructing another invisible wall between you and your potential. But you are capable of breaking through those walls. The very moment you decide that you will not let fear dictate your path, you begin to unlock your own limitless possibilities. Breaking your own barriers requires self-awareness, resilience, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. It means recognizing when your own thoughts and beliefs are holding you back and taking steps to challenge them. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone, even when it's easier to stay where you are. When you confront your fears, whether they are about failure, rejection, or inadequacy, you shatter the limits you've placed on yourself. Each time you push past a barrier, you grow stronger and more confident. You build a new mindset, one that believes in limitless potential rather than limitation. These personal breakthroughs don't happen overnight, but every step you take toward breaking your own barriers gets you closer to the life you are meant to live. A life that is not constrained by self, doubt, or fear, but defined by possibility and empowerment. Self-belief is the foundation of everything you will ever achieve. It is the unwavering trust that you have the ability to accomplish whatever you set your mind to, even when the road ahead seems uncertain or filled with obstacles. Without it, even the greatest skills, talents, and opportunities won't help you reach your full potential. When you invest in self-belief, you are putting your trust in your own capabilities, knowing that you are worthy of success and capable of navigating whatever challenges come your way. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you have all the answers or that you won't face difficulties. It means that you have faith in your ability to learn, adapt, and persevere. When you invest in self-belief, you become resilient in the face of setbacks. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as insurmountable obstacles. The voice inside your head shifts from one of doubt and hesitation to one of encouragement and determination. But investing in self-belief is not just about thinking positively. It's about backing those thoughts with actions. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even when it feels hard. It's about putting in the work, continuing to move forward, and reminding yourself that progress is a process. Every time you take a step toward your goals, you reaffirm your belief in yourself. Every time you push through fear and doubt, you strengthen that belief. When you believe in yourself, you open the door to endless possibilities. You stop waiting for permission or validation from others. Instead, you take charge of your own journey. The confidence you build through self-belief becomes a force that propels you towards success, no matter how difficult or distant it may seem.